that's just like we said with Sexy Red. She got all the young fuck bitches doing the shit. Corey got the old mediocre insecure niggas that's never going to be out their mother's basement, okay? Y'all all follow him. And a few of the Kevin Samuel niggas that had to go find a place to scatter to when they king died, okay? Y'all all support him. Go support him and shut the fuck up and stay over there. But don't be mad at us because we not supporting the shit that he's promoting, which is saying that a 14-year-old and a 15-year-old and a 16-year-old is a woman that you need to utilize her body because she's ready to be a mother. Like, we ain't gone that far off the fucking hill.
There's something fascinating happening in the comedy world right now. And if you watch the latest episode of In Godfrey We Trust with Godfrey, Yamanika Saunders and Akeem Woods, you saw it unfold in real time. This wasn't just a commentary. This was a reckoning. For most of the episode, the conversation revolves around the growing controversy surrounding Corey Holcomb. And if we're being honest, Yamanika went nuclear.
Amen.
X.
So what?
Corey Holcomb.
Mm-hmm.
Corey Holcomb.
There's a video of him talking about a 5-year-old girl and
What?
calling her a whore.
You're
Yeah.
lying.
Yeah.
Is there a video of Corey Holcomb talking about a 5-year-old girl calling her a whore?
Yeah.
Yo.
Let me put that in there. Here's the thing, and it's not. People know. I've said for years that Corey Holcomb is a piece of work. He is an insecure man who is not happy with where he is in his career. And he has, sometimes people don't get where they need to get in their career and they deserve it. He's not one of those people. He's had every opportunity known to man. You was they shuck and jive nigga. You was everything. You played a pimp. You was on Black Jesus. You was out here doing all this shit. Yeah. You was on Wildin' Out. You was all this shit. All these opportunities you had, and you wind up here, and this is all because of your court. You can't blame no women for that. Can't blame black women for that. All of that is you. 30 years later, 35 years later, you've been doing stand-up. You still running around here talking about bitches with stinky pussies. Never mind the fact that if every time you deal with a bitch and her pussy stink, it's got to be you, nigga. You fucking up bitches' pH balance. Hey. I've never seen a nigga complain so much about stinky pussy and not think 30 years later, maybe I'm the nigga that's making the pussy stink, okay? So you're not even the nigga that can get bitches and you're still paying for abortions.
Now, before we even get into Corey, let's talk about Yamanika. Because people love to say she goes off at the mouth. They say she's loud. They say she's confrontational. They say she's too much. And historically, she has always been contentious. She's clashed with comedy legends, notably Patrice O'Neal, and she's never been afraid to speak in rooms where most comedians shrink.
I believe a man wants someone that's going to support him. A female that's going to support him and be there and be the woman to, like you are,
female
with him.
Perspective.
No. I'm just saying. No, I don't think it's female perspective.
Let's finish.
Like you're there for him, okay, supporting him, taking his shit and whatever he does, and he takes your shit. That's the type of relationship I'm talking about. He can call you a bitch, a cunt, and you're not gonna fucking jump on his ass.
Stop the presses. Hold up. Don't let me have to turn your mic off when I'm saying this, right? Hold up. Stop the presses.
All right.
This motherfucker, this Porsche is better than this motherfucker's car. Even though I want to drive his car too, I know I got a better thing. That I know what he wants my shit. My shit's more valuable. He don't know that his shit's just as valuable, but I'm going to treat him like it ain't.
Well, it sounds like you need to teach these men to have better self-esteem.
But if that was the case, who'd be stuck if guys finally figured it out?
We would.
Exactly.
So when Yamanika goes hard on somebody, you can't just dismiss it as random outrage. There's history behind that energy. And this episode, she wasn't playing.
Never mind the fact, you still doing material about paying for abortions. Never mind the fact that you can get an abortion pill now for about $5.
Oh, what's this? This might be the 5-year-old.
I think this is it.
5-year-old.
Yeah.
Oh, shit. Let me hear it. Turn that shit up.
This past weekend, I saw this little girl. She had a Welch's grape juice bottle in her mouth. And she was about 5. She had the whole bottle, as far as it'll go, just sucking on it, walking with her mama. Somebody said, get that out her mouth. When they took it out her mouth, that baby said, you know when she stopped crying? When a man picked her up and put her in her lap and started bouncing with it. Then she stopped crying and was looking like this. I say, that's a whore.
Or it's a kid.
That's a little whore.
Who wanted
right
soda.
There. And everybody will say, Corey, what are you talking about? Corey, you crazy. Get the fuck out of here. This little girl was in her bliss with her mouth wide open. She was just, it had the cap on it and everything. They took it out of her mouth. Then a man picked her up and started shaking her on his knee. And she was like, I said, that's a whore. That's a little whore. It's just Corey Holcomb crazy. I almost want to go back and ask about that little girl and do a documentary on her life. So one day I can show I know what I'm talking about. But in this society, I'm a bad guy.
As Yamanika pointed out, there was no joke structure there, no punchline, no clever twist. She zeroed in on something deeper. Why is your mind going there in the first place? Why are you staring at a young individual long enough to build a bit around it? And her larger argument wasn't just about that one clip. It was about a pattern. She framed Corey as someone who has built her career on degradation, especially towards women, and who now seems shocked that the culture is pushing back.
What do you think about that one? Oh boy.
That's cringy. Like, why are you staring that hard at a 5-year-old girl? To even notice it enough to even have the bit.
Drinking.
Here's why.
That's extreme.
Here's why I come on here and I say some of the things that I say, right? Mm-hmm. Because what's dangerous about what he's doing, aside from the fact that obviously he is sexualizing a 5-year-old child, whether it is a little girl or little boy, he is sexualizing a child. Not to mention the fact that we just watched a clip where he's already justifying at 14 years old that the child is ready to be a woman and a mother and all this other stuff. So that means 9 years from now, the little girl got to worry about him. But it sounds like she got to worry about him today at 5 years old. Mm-hmm. It's the way in which some of these guys are predators. And they immediately try to blame the victim of their predatorization, right? Yeah. So you're looking at this little girl, and the way none of this stuff would have even come to my mind when I saw a 5-year-old, it's crazy, right? The way that came to your mind, and then you decided to go ahead and do some type of research, I guess. Then you're going to present this as some type of TED Talk, as if there is some type of urgency that we need to address little 5-year-old girls drinking Welch's grape juice, and first of all, never mind the fact that probably the man that picked her up was a father. Okay, you're sexualizing this little girl, and it's because she is a whore. It's because she's ready to suck dick. She ready to fucking suck and luck. And now you want to do a documentary on this little girl to find out so that you can prove that you're right. If you took this amount of energy and forethought and put it into your act, nigga, you might be funny.
Her criticism wasn't just moral outrage, it was professional. She laid out Corey's resume. Black Jesus, Wild and Out, action roles, opportunities most comics would kill for, decades in the game, and her central question was brutal. If you've had all those opportunities and you're still here 30 plus years later recycling the same stinky pussy jokes, is that the industry's fault? Or is it you?
I mean, he's giving us a dissertation. He wants to do a documentary on a 5-year-old that he ran into that was drinking Welch's juice. Not a documentary on the state of black men in this current administration. Not any comedy that's talking about anything that's happened with this current administration. Mm-hmm. Not any comedy that's talking about what it's like to be a black man at his current age and time in a world that's slowly but surely leaving him behind because he refuses to get on board with the time. You're putting your hands on women. Everything out of your mouth is disparaging. And then put the video up of him with the Anton Daniels nigga. How long can y'all pull that up? Right. So you're available to talk about little 5-year-old girls and be disrespectful to them. Never mind the fact you're not going to tell us who this little girl is, because I almost know that if you was close to the little girl like that, you know her father, and you know her father would come for you, right? So now it's this phantom little black girl he done run into out of nowhere, right? But you're sitting there with a nigga telling you that you got a figurative dick in your mouth, and you're gonna sit there and run back and forth with him, but never once out of all the shit that the nigga said to you did you get to the point where you put your hands on him. But now we gotta believe that whatever this woman said that you mushed up, you saying you mushed her, you didn't punch her, we got to believe that what she was saying was so atrocious that you couldn't prevent putting your hands on her. But a nigga sat right 2 feet, 2 inches away from you, told you was sucking the dick of all black America, and you just went into a screaming match, you and Carl Winslow. Could you get the video?
Carl Winslow.
Then came the second layer, the Christina Payne incident. The footage shows Corey leaving an argument, turning back and putting hands on her. Debate the context all you want. Yamanika's stance was simple. If you talk for a living and words are your weapon, why did you escalate to hands? Especially when we've all seen him sit face to face with Anton Daniels being called someone who sucks the D of Black America.
Because, you know, niggas, when they go back to tell their story about how they forced somebody, it's always, I told the nigga this, I told the nigga that. And it was like, really? Because we all watch you, nigga, tell him nothing. Both of y'all was sitting there circling around like 2 little fat play school buddies talking about y'all about to fight. Beat it. Godfrey, we are talking about Corey Holcomb because Corey Holcomb is in the news. Unfortunately for him, he's not in the news because of his stand-up. Right? He's in the news because of things that he has said out of his own mouth. Over here, right? We are here to give commentary about what's happening, right? We've talked about Sexy Red, Nicki Minaj. We are out here talking. So he's a part of that zeitgeist, right? Yep. Of us talking about shit. Now, because the things that he's talking about are very few people are on board unless they are a pedo. Very few people are on board with anything that he is saying, right? So I am allowed to come on here. I don't, and voice my opinion about somebody who, number one, has publicly said wild shit about me.
Really?
Yes, number one. Number two, is not a great person. And number three, is currently in the news. Again, not for a stand-up, for putting his hands on people and then having these damn back and forths, okay? So let's be very, very clear about that. Don't ever come writing in talking about, Corey Holcomb needs no fucking grace. And that's not no mush. That's a punch.
That's a punch. But also...
Yeah, and I'm the one brother that swung. And I'm proud of that brother. And the rest of them niggas sitting around there looking like they had a damn carnival they bought tickets for.
I think the guy who swung was a security guard at the club.
Okay.
Her argument was consistency. If you can handle verbal disrespect from a man inches away from you without swinging, then don't tell us you had to put hands on a woman. And here's where it gets interesting. Godfrey didn't say much, and that silence wasn't accidental. Godfrey and Corey have history. Corey has publicly called him gay on multiple episodes. There's tension there. So you could feel Godfrey choosing his words carefully, almost strategically, because Corey is known to respond. And when he responds, he doesn't tiptoe. Akeem Woods, meanwhile, backed Yamanika. He wasn't as fiery, but he reinforced the core theme. This isn't a one-off moment. This is a familiar pattern. Now here's the deeper layer that makes this conversation more than just gossip. Yamanika herself is controversial. She has burned bridges. She has gone off on people. She's been accused of being difficult. So when someone like that critiques Corey, it's not coming from a place of naivety. It's coming from someone who understands how brutal and messy the comedy ecosystem is. She's not speaking as an outsider. She's speaking as someone who survived it. And her underlying thesis is this. Corey Holcomb is not a victim of cancel culture. He is a victim of his own inability to evolve.
Don't be mad at us because we not supporting the shit that he's promoting, which is saying that a 14-year-old and a 15-year-old and a 16-year-old is a woman that you need to utilize her body because she's ready to be a mother. Like, we ain't gone that far off the fucking hill.
Right.
We're not gonna sit here and praise some nigga that's observing a 5-year-old girl and then calling her a whore. Mm-hmm. We not doing that. It's too many fuck niggas y'all could be praising for that. Go get Michael Blackston. He out here. What I'm saying is, he's out here doing a caricature of some stereotypical Nigerian from 1988 that just made their way to Harlem, okay? If that's what he's doing, as long as he not out here talking about 5-year-olds and out here putting his hands on women, I'm available for y'all to go over there and get the same reduced comedy that he's doing over there. We got a king for y'all, and it don't have to be Corey Holcomb.
Well, there it is. You heard it first from Yamanika Saunders.
And I don't give a fuck about none of these niggas, because I'm going to tell you something right now. A lot of these niggas try to come in and say, oh, y'all this and y'all that. I am a black woman in this fucking business trying to do it. I've been in this business since I was 16 fucking years old. I'm 47. I done had niggas do all kinds of shit. I have earned my fucking stripes to be here, whether you know me or fucking not. I'm out here doing the work. I'm hitting the stages. I'm working on material. I'm thinking about shit. I'm changing up the act. I'm evolving with my shit. I'm not who I was 20-something years ago when I started fucking comedy, running around here talking about reduced bullshit. I am a 47-year-old black woman living in this world, and I think it's important for me to put that POV out and have something to say other than to sit there and tell y'all how many different ways I fucked and sucked some nigga's dick.
Comedy changes. Audiences change. Culture changes. If you're still operating on 1998 shock value and blaming women for everything in 2026, eventually the world moves on without you. That doesn't mean you can't be edgy. It means you have to be clever. Even Patrice O'Neal, who was ruthless, built arguments. He didn't just shout degradation. There was structure, philosophy, misdirection. That's the distinction Yamanika was hinting at. And the most telling part, when Corey complains about losing gigs and blames optics, she laughed at the word itself. Her point was clear. You don't get to run your mouth about everyone else for decades and then demand grace when the spotlight hits you. That's not how it works. In many ways, this episode wasn't just about Corey. It was about accountability in comedy. It was about whether the old say anything, no consequences era is over. And it was about whether some comedians have confused cruelty with craft. The irony, Godfrey's platform gave space for this critique. And that might be the biggest shift of all. Because years ago, this conversation wouldn't have happened publicly. Now it is. And the comedy world is watching. The question isn't whether Corey will respond. He will. The real question is whether he'll reflect. Because if you're 30 plus years in and still fighting the same fights, maybe it's not the culture that's bitter. Maybe it's you.